Okay, hi everyone. I'm going to show you how to do scheduled charging in the Hyundai Ioniq. There seems to be a little bit of confusion on how exactly to do this. So I'm going to show you the way I do it. If you're doing it differently, well, good for you. Anyway, this is the way I do it. So at the main menu here, we have this EV button over there. So we click the E button at the top left right there. And from here we can see the range, the energy information. And if you hit the energy information, you'll realize that your AC charging right now in my current state of charge is going to take me 10 hours and 20 minutes, and it's currently 21:53. So, yeah, that's a little too long because for my off-peak hours, and I'll explain that. I'll explain that in a minute. Okay. So, the charge climate control settings right here. These charge climate settings. This is the button that we're interested in right now. So you click on that. And here is where you can set up the schedule. So right now you have to set up a start driving, and you set up a time at which you're going to start your driving. That way the Ioniq will try to charge the battery to reach that departure time. Make sure that you got the maximum amount of battery, hopefully 100%. But so we set it like this. So our departure time, suppose we say that we're leaving tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Okay, and we're going to do this on the weekdays, right? So let's turn off the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There you go. So this, for the weekdays, we want to leave at 7 a.m. Okay, so we click on that, okay. And that basically sets your schedule. And it says, okay, I'm going to be leaving at 7 a.m. Now, when this automatically enables because I created a new one, but as you just noticed that this charge now and this charge on schedule has appeared. And it says right there below it, charge now charges the battery as soon as the cable is connected, whereas charge on schedule charges the battery according to the charging times when the cable is connected. Okay? Now that's the important part right here. So when you do charge on schedule, it'll use this. Now there's something interesting that happens here. For the charge on schedule. I'll show you that in a second, but what I want to show you here is you'll notice that you have this off here with the little defrost button. So I'm going to set up a different schedule here for my weekends. Okay? And so, sorry, I just turned it on, but I'm going to turn it on here. So all my weekends on Sundays and Saturdays, I am going to be departing at departure time at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I want my climate control to be on at 22.5 degrees. Okay? And this is where you can turn on and off the front defrost. This is the front defrost, not the rear one. So you turn that on with the little blue light there, and that says at 8 o'clock in the morning, it will try, this is your departure. I'm leaving at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it'll turn on the heater to try to get to 22.5, and it'll defrost the front windshield. This is very practical if you park, say, outside and you have your car plugged in outside. Now, I want to make something important to understand here is that if you use the climate control here, right, the trouble you're going to get with the climate control is that it will draw from the battery. If you're using a level 2, from what I've heard from people who have level 2s, I don't, is that it's fine. It'll draw the energy from the level 2 and it won't affect the battery. But I'm currently on a level 1. I haven't bought my level 2 yet. And on a level 1, what I noticed with this is that it will set the climate control. You get into the car, it's nice and toasty. The defrost is running. You got all the fog is all gone and everything. But the battery will not be at 100%. I've left basically with batteries between 94 and 96, depending on the weather. That can be a problem if if you're really extending yourself as far as range is concerned, especially during the winter when it's really, really cold. So you might want to, consider maybe turning that off if you're really concerned about range. And when I had turned it off, I did a test. I turned off my climate here entirely just by hitting this button right there. And I actually left in the morning, at the departure time with a full 100% battery. All right, so let's turn this on right here. Okay, so now what's going on right here is you have the chart now, and it'll do this as soon as possible. As soon as I plug it in right now, it'll start charging, even though, we're looking at that. But if you say charge on schedule, right, what happens now is that the battery, the Ioniq is going to try to charge the battery so that you can reach your departure time here. So it would automatically figure it out based on this setting right over here. So based on this right here, where the AC charger 120 volts takes 10 hours and 20 minutes, or say on the 240 volts, right? It'll use these numbers over here to determine the right time to leave, the right time to start. Sorry, to start charging, so you can leave your reach your leave time with your departure time. Basically, sorry, my vocabulary is kind of screwed up right now. You can reach your departure time with a maximum amount of battery capacity. Now, in most jurisdictions, we have off-peak electricity. In Ontario, as it happens, it's 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. In my city right here in Mississauga, it's 6.5 cents per kilowatt hour during off-peak. So I really want to take advantage of that. And the off-peak also extends into the weekend. So in the full 24 hours, Saturday and Sunday, is the same thing as your off-peak during the weekday. Okay? So I'm going to show you how to set that up. So here's the off-peak time, and right now it's currently disabled. Click that, and here's where you can set it up. So on your weekday, you can say my start time is, I'm going to go the other way, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Okay? Now that is my weekday off-peak time. And here is where it gets confusing. Some people are having trouble with this. I said that the off-peak on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, is a full 24 hours. Well, if you try to do 24 hours like this, 12 a.m. to 12 a.m.
22.
Sorry, that's my dash cam actually telling me that. So if I hit OK right here, I'm going to get a little error message. Specify a different time for the start time and end time. So how do you get around that? Well, the way I discovered how to do this is that I'm going to have to leave some kind of a gap. And the way I did my gap was just by using this PM right here. So what I do is I set it to 11:50 p.m. So now I have a 10-minute gap at the end of the day. So it starts at 12 a.m., goes to 11:50, pauses for 10 minutes, and then the next day, so that's say like that Saturday night, and then Sunday morning, it goes 12 a.m. to 11:50 p.m., pauses for 12 minutes, and then on the weekdays, right here, schedule, right there, remember it's 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., then that will kick in as well. So, this really maximizes the amount of time. You don't only have like a 20-minute pause over a full weekend of charging. So this is the best way that I could figure it out. So you click OK, and there's your schedule right there. Now, what happens in this particular case is it'll try to use that off-peak. So the off-peak time right here is actually enabled. So it'll use this off-peak information to try to reach these target departure times. Okay? Whatever the way you set it. But there is an interesting thing, is that in the off-peak here, you can say charge only during the time shown below. So that way it makes sure that the Ioniq will not even try to charge before it reaches, say 7 p.m., right? So if you're at 6 o'clock and you plug it in and it determines that, yes, you do need to start charging right now to get the full 100%, it will try to do that anyway, unless you enable this. And then when you enable this, charge only, then it will only ever charge between 7 p.m., 7 a.m., and the full 24 hours on the weekends. And that'll save you money, right? But the interesting thing to understand here is that you might not get a full charge, especially during the weekday right here. So if you're on the weekday and your charge is going to be more than 12 hours, then you got a problem, because that's only a 12-hour gap. If you got a charge for 15 hours, you might not be able to depart on time. Or in fact, right now, look at me right now. See, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and it's 10 o'clock. Right? So if you look at my setting right now, I go here and take a look at that. It's going to take me 10 hours and 20 minutes. Wow. Okay? I got a big problem here. So, I'm missing an hour in here somewhere. I need an extra hour. Okay, so if I go back here, that explains the off-peak. Now, this charge now and charge on schedule, there is also something important to consider, is we have a physical button to make that happen, and I'll show you that. This right here is the physical button that allows you to override the schedule. The way it usually works, the way I do it, I usually press right here. So I open up the charge door, okay? Now that's basically to enable or disable the locking mechanism. See, when you turn on the little light, that allows you to unplug it, the charger handle when it's done charging. If you do it like this, it'll keep it locked until you unlock the doors of the vehicle. And that way you can make sure that nobody will ever unplug your car. So by default, I leave it like this because that's good courtesy. But that's the one that we're interested in because we're interested in our schedule, right? That pressing this button right here, right? Now you'll notice that the lights don't turn on, don't turn off. But what happened is it will display something in the dashboard showing, the schedule on or off. Now, like I said before, I usually plug it in first, and then I take a look back at, say, like the level 2 charger that I'm using, and if I see it not enabling where it says the little message saying waiting on vehicle, then I come back here and press this button to make sure that it's off. Now, doing that has basically the same effect as going over here and saying charge now. So if I press the charge now, it's the same thing. The only thing is when you change this charge now, right, the issue you're getting is this is now a permanent change. And if you forget about that, you may plug it in at home and forget, oh, wow, I'm not charging off-peak, like the off-peak only the way I wanted to. It's charging right now. And you may forget about that. And then you take a look at your hydro bill and you find out, whoa, it's using more expensive electricity. Why am I doing that? So what you really want to do is you want to keep the charge on schedule to make sure that you charge off-peak hours, the way I have it set right here, because that saves you money at home. And then when you go to, say, like a level 2 charger, which is for free, you might go there during the daytime. Well, since they're free, you just make sure that you press this button right over here, that if the charger is not responding, if you see that the charger is saying, hey, you know what, your car is not plugged in or something like that, it's just because it cannot communicate, and the vehicle, the Ioniq, is actually preventing the charging from happening, which is why this button exists. So you just tap that button right there, wait a few seconds, and usually takes about, 30-40 seconds, and then you'll hear the charger, the EVSE actually, you'll hear it click and then go like, oh, that relay just clicked, so it's activating. And then you look at the LCD display and you might see a message saying, charging now. You'll see a little stream or whatever. They vary from one manufacturer to another. Anyway, so that button is important. But remember that pressing this button is just for like a one-time thing. It does not change the charge now or charge on schedule that is on the LCD. That will not be affected by this button. That's just an active thing for the charge that I'm doing right now. And that's all what that button is. So you have to understand the difference between that button and doing charge now, charge on schedule on the LCD screen. Well, I hope this was helpful, and people might understand a little bit easier, a little bit more how to charge your car off peak and so on. So leave me any comments if you want to, if your procedure is different. I know these screens look different. This is North America. This is Canada. I've seen some of these screens look different in Europe. So there might be a completely different procedure. You might want to type something in the comment section and, to help out some other Ioniq owners. Thank you.